Is there a problem, people?
No problem at all, Mrs. Kennedy.
Guys, it's happening. Kathleen Kennedy is going to leave Lucasfilm. Now, you might be thinking, Eric, we've heard that so many times. She's not leaving. No, this time she is leaving, and I can tell you why. And sure, we've heard it several times from YouTubers who claim to have insiders, but we've never heard it from the trades. And as of right now, Puck News, The Hollywood Reporter, and Variety have all reported on Kathleen Kennedy leaving at the end of 2025. Mainstream media outlets will not report on it unless they have gotten some inside information that it's pretty much going to happen. And the fact that they are all reporting on it means that they have all investigated, they have all asked their own internal questions, and they feel confident enough to actually put that information out there. So this is not some blind rumor, this is pretty much a done deal at this point. So yeah, Kathleen Kennedy is finally out. And to be honest, I already knew that she was gonna be on the way out, because over the last month or so, we've been hearing news of Kathleen Kennedy getting all of these accolades and Lifetime Achievement Awards, and I kid you not, one of the Lifetime Achievement Awards that she's gotten recently is a Lifetime Achievement Award for being Irish. I am not kidding. So that was kind of like the early signs to me that she was actually leaving this time, and that her contract was not going to be renewed like it was a couple times in the past. So I was like, okay, it already seems like the signs are happening, and now with this information that has dropped, it is most definitely happening. So that is it. One of the most destructive runs as CEO is finally coming to an end. But Hollywood is just trying to give her what is called the golden parachute, which essentially means that we're kicking you out, but we're gonna be kind about it. So we're gonna give you a bunch of accolades, we're gonna make you look good in the eyes of the public and in the eyes of the mainstream media, but on the inside, we know why you're going. Because Kathleen Kennedy she has really killed the brand of Star Wars. Like, she has destroyed it at this point. If you have a look at what The Last Jedi did, that is a movie that has just completely damaged Star Wars, and to this day it's not recovered from it. People were upset about how they treated Luke Skywalker, and that pretty much kicked off this whole thing in general, this whole culture wars in Hollywood, where they were misrepresenting and disrespecting iconic characters, especially iconic male characters, and pushing them off to the side or making the female character seem better than them. They basically turned it all into a culture war, and Kathleen Kennedy is one of the first people. Her and the 2016 Ghostbusters are one of the main starting points to where the culture wars happened, and where if you don't like a female character, or if you don't like the way that the male character has been treated, you are immediately labeled a sexist. Or then there's people on the right who are accusing other people on the left of being woke, even when things are not woke. This all started from what Ghostbusters did, and especially what Kathleen Kennedy did. Because if you remember, Kathleen Kennedy said some complete nonsense, like she owes male Star Wars fans nothing, even though the whole reason Star Wars is as popular and profitable as it is today is because of those male Star Wars fans. And the amount of times they will re-watch Star Wars, the amount of times they'll buy the merchandise, they'll buy the games, and everything else, it really does come down to the male fans who do that kind of thing, especially me when I was growing up. She also said nonsensical things as well that just weren't true, like she was saying that Star Wars is not like Marvel, where you can pull from source material and comic books and extended universe stuff. And people are like, what are you talking about? Star Wars has had comic books and books for years, so why are you saying that there is no other material that you can reference? That was another thing. And Kathleen Kennedy, she was never a Star Wars fan. She was just using Star Wars because it was a big property that she had no hand in forming, and she was like, I can take this and shape it in my own thing. And her thing was very much against everyone else's thing, and what Star Wars was in the first place. So the fact that she's going is really good. I'm very glad with that. And how many movies and projects has she announced that never got made? We had the Rian Johnson trilogy, we had the Game of Thrones showrunners making their trilogy, we had the Taika Waititi movie, we had the Rogue Squadron movie from Patty Jenkins, we had the Rey movie that has been constantly said to be in development with different writers and different directors, and that is never happening. We also had a James Mangold film, which was going to happen with Boba Fett originally, and then now we've got another James Mangold film, which we still have not not heard anything on. And then there was also going to be a Lando streaming series with Donald Glover. There was just so many projects that she had announced, and none of them came to fruition. And the supposed Rey movie or trilogy, whatever she's going to plan to do with that is clearly not going to happen either. The fact that she wants to get that done and it's after like 2 years, there's been no movement or development with it. It's just constantly had writers and directors enter and exit the project, and now she's leaving at the end of 2025. There is no way that Rey movie is going to be made. So that's another one that she can add to the list. But the thing that I'm wondering is, why are they telling us that she's retiring now? Because Kathleen Kennedy is not going to be retired until the end of this year, and we have pretty much just started 2025. So why is that information coming out now? This is incredibly early. Well, my guess is that Disney want this information to come out early. So this way, she can't get another extension on her contract like she has gotten over the last few years. And what's really interesting is that The Hollywood Reporter has already put out a possible list of replacements for Kathleen Kennedy, and it is a very detailed list. This seems to imply, at least to me, that they had this article ready and pre-written for days, maybe even weeks, and they knew this information was coming, and they were just waiting for this news to break so they could publish it.
Evans, Mallory, come with me. The rest of you, don't let Kathleen Kennedy find out what we're up to.
The fact that they've announced it this early on in the year means that it's inescapable now. It's been announced, the trades are all running with it, and I bet you that Kathleen Kennedy did not know that this story was coming out.
Where the fuck is Bob Iger?
Mr. Iger just had to take some of the others to a screening.
But now that it's come out, it's inescapable and she can do nothing to stop it.
I think that things are being kept from me. And if you're going to keep things from me, then you'd better put a chick in it and make it fucking gay as fuck.
And honestly, that seems quite in keeping with what Kathleen Kennedy has been doing, because like I said, I heard rumors that The Acolyte was announced in one of the trades and it was not announced officially. So that seems like Kathleen Kennedy just tried to get the information out there, so she kind of had to force Disney to basically get a show going because, well, it's been announced now. It's been announced that it's got a showrunner, and it's announced that it's going to be happening, so you're going to have to do it. And I'm sure that's been going on with the Rey movie as well. So I'm sure Disney has remembered that, and they've said, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to announce your retirement without you knowing as well, just like you announced those shows without us knowing. So I do think that there is some kind of like politics going on with this story even being announced. You can tell there is some kind of like infighting going on over at Disney and Lucasfilm. And I think it's no coincidence that of all times they are announcing this, it's after Trump got put into office. That is why they are now able to announce this and say that Kathleen Kennedy is leaving and get no blowback. Because Hollywood and just companies and corporations in general have been discarding this DEI programs that they've had. So I think it's no coincidence that of all times they could have announced this, they are announcing it now. Because I think that they think they can get away with it if they announce it now. Like, now is the perfect time to say that she's going, and then they can't go back on it later. I bet you that is why they've chosen now to put this story out there. It's great that she's finally leaving. This is something that we have wanted for so many years. But I gotta say, now that she's leaving, I don't really care. Because seriously, why should we celebrate that Kathleen Kennedy is retiring now? Because she's just caused so much damage with her time at Lucasfilm that a lot of the projects that we wanted to see, they're just kind of done now. Like, what is there to be excited about? The Obi-Wan show is something that we all wanted to see, but after that Obi-Wan show was so painfully mediocre to many, and terrible to many others, people after that stopped watching Star Wars related stuff. It was because of that the one good Star Wars show, Andor, was not getting any views, because people were just worn out of Star Wars. They were like, if Obi-Wan Kenobi is as good as it can get, then what's the point of watching this stuff? So I honestly think that it's quite tiring, this whole story. The fact it's coming now is just kind of irritating, and it really bugs me. She should have been fired or retired. Should have been retired many years ago, because what other damage can be done to Lucasfilm at this point? I honestly think it's too late, and I think that too much damage has been done within Lucasfilm that a lot of people are not going to be watching these new shows when they come out. I mean, geez, the new Skeleton Crew show has not even entered the top 10 charts on the Nielsen ratings. That's one of the first live-action Star Wars shows to do that. So that just tells you that I think The Acolyte was the final straw for many people. The quality of that show was so bad, characters were changing their motivations every episode, that people were just kind of like, yeah, I'm done. And this is another show that also treated Jedis horribly. So yeah, she's gone, but I think the damage is done. I think Bob Iger and the fact that he allowed Kathleen Kennedy to go as far into destroying Star Wars as he did is something that he is never going to live down as well. And we know Kathleen Kennedy is never going to live this down. This is something that is going to follow her forever. This is something that she is going to be known for, the woman that destroyed Star Wars.
I'm scared, Mom. Will you please just look and make sure Kathleen Kennedy isn't under my bed?
Kathleen Kennedy is not under your bed.
Can you check the closet?
Eric, enough!
And yeah, she's finally gone, but at what cost? Quite frankly, I'm not really interested in anything Star Wars can do going forward. The only franchise I'm even remotely interested in following right now is DC, with what James Gunn is doing. Marvel and Lucasfilm, they've screwed up. So I'll follow DC, but even that, there's still a question mark on it. But as far as Kathleen Kennedy retiring from Star Wars, it's good news that came way too late. That's the best way I can sum it up. But let me know, what do you guys think? Are you happy that she's going? Are you still excited for what Star Wars can do? Or like me, do you think she's just left too much damage in her wake and that there's no fixing Star Wars now? Or even if there is, you're not willing to wait? Be sure to let me know. Thank you very much for watching. Please do support me on Patreon or YouTube members, as it really does help support the channel. And if you don't want to do that, then that's perfectly fine. Then please do give the video a thumbs up and click the subscribe button and the bell icon right next to it. Thank you very much for watching, everyone, and I'll catch all of you very soon. Take care.